Welcome back, everyone, to another Company Fears 2 Replicast. And this time we're going to have a 1v1 on, not Angeville, sorry, Langrskaya. And, yeah, it looked like Angeville. You know, the two more classic maps. So, yeah.
Listen up, fellas.
Anyway, it's going to be a replay sent in by Segismundeo. His enemy is going to be Blitzkrieg, playing as the OKW. Although, since it's Langrskaya, I don't think he's going to be Blitzkrieging anything. No. Yes, a 1v1. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've cast a 1v1 game, but let's get our bearings. Alright, so Langrskaya, it's got the most annoying kind of VP setup ever. Which, well, it's not as bad as it used to be. It's honestly not as bad as it used to be. It used to be that this VP was here, and this VP was actually down here. So it was very, 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 very hard for someone to get a double cap or a triple cap unless they just held the center. A triple cap was almost impossible. But it's still relatively hard as all these VPs are out in the open. So it's kind of easy to protect at least one with a machine gun. Anyway, Blitzkrieg will not have that option. He is playing as the OKW, and the two fuel points are in the usual spots at the corners of the map, so also very harassable. Alright, first engagement is going to be a couple of riflemen fighting it out with some Sturmpiles, and the riflemen getting behind that nice tractor, and the Sturmpioneers, well, just trying to get refuge in the house and wait for these Volksgrenadiers, but the Volksgrenadiers are busy getting up some sandbags to capture the VP, so no help is going to be coming in for these Sturmpiles. I think this is a mistake, honestly. This Volksgrenadier should have been coming in and getting behind these hay bales to get some flanking fire on these riflemen. I think that capturing the VP right now, it's not that important, and he does manage to do that, but it's like, what is he going to get out of this? He's going to get a few tickets of bleed, but if he had gotten these Volksgrenadiers out here a lot earlier, well, maybe he would have saved most of his Sturmpioneers. He would have had, yeah, look at this. They already have to retreat, these riflemen. So he would have saved half of his Sturmpioneer squad and gave himself a lot more of a good advantage over here. And yeah, so he's going to have to use an incendiary grenade because of that. And I guess that's kind of fine for him. Training some munitions for the VP. And right now he's going to be essentially trying to advance across the eastern section of the map. Well, he only has a Volksgrenadier squad on the left. One Volksgrenadier against one rifleman, it's likely that this rifleman squad will win this engagement, especially at close range like this. Although, yeah, it's likely that the rifleman will win. So this is actually going to give Segismundeo the left-hand side, which is not usually what happens. Usually you keep your left-hand side in Langrskaya. That is to say, the Americans keep the right side, or rather the North keeps the right side, and the South keeps the left-hand side. But it's not going to be this way, and right now it seems like the Axis are pushing up in the east. This is pretty okay for them, and they're trying to just put some fire down on these American troops. Getting into this building, which is a very, very good spot, just to defend your own base. Of course, there is also the cutoff to think about, but yeah, without any points around, it's not really all that important. Although this Volksgrenadier squad could just sneak in here and try to get a cap. Might not be the best idea. Here comes the mortar rounds from Segismundeo's M157, not 57, just so used to saying 57mm, the M1 81mm, and yeah, there's going to be some Volksgrenadiers trying to get in there, but they're taking plenty of flanking fire from these rifleman squads, and the incendiary grenade will not go to good effect. So right now, Blitzkrieg is going to have to retreat out of there, I would think, and his Sturmpioneers, as you can see, 2 damage to actually get in and focus on these riflemen while they were having their attention on the Volksgrenadiers. So big win for Segismundeo. He wins on the left side, and he also is on the process of winning for the right side. As you can see with the mortar, he's going to be able to counter any kind of garrison play from the Germans. So this is not going to be all that good for him. He needs to retreat out of here and probably reconsider his whole plan. Alright, well, the center at least is going to be secure. Volksgrenadiers easily taking down these rear echelons. The rear echelons might actually get wiped in the middle of all of this. Will it happen? Perhaps not. But at least the Volksgrenadiers can get in here and disrupt the fire of this mortar once again. So this is well done by Blitzkrieg. He has been able to just keep this mortar guessing and retreating out of there instead of firing constantly. So that's good for him. And these riflemen just being a bit of a menace, capturing all these points all over. However, the Germans getting back into this a little bit. They are also having the VP advantage, so that's pretty good for Blitzkrieg. but he's going to lose a Fallschirmjäger squad. That was very, very sloppy, and right now, yet another incendiary grenade on the lieutenant. So Sigismundeo going for the lieutenant. Incendiary grenade is going to force the lieutenant into the waiting jaws of these Sturmpioneers' STG-44s, who actually obliterate the lieutenant at close range, almost wiping him out. That was just so very unfortunate. Had he wiped that lieutenant, he would have gotten a 1-up on the wipe of that Fallschirmjäger that Sigismundeo got earlier, but this is not going to be a very, very quick rush to like the major or anything. We have the lieutenant for Sigismundeo plus an ambulance. I wonder if he's going to go for an A half-track. I think it would be a very good idea right now, but he's definitely lacking in the manpower compartment. He's got 230 manpower, while he needs 310 for that A half-track, and he still needs to reinforce some of his units, as you can see. So Sigismundeo losing a lot in terms of getting manpower bled. Although Blitzkrieg also pretty similar. He's gone for the battle group, but he hasn't been able to get anything out of that yet. Sigismundeo is going to pick the Airborne Doctrine, which is an interesting choice. Interesting choice on this map as well, because I would have thought that a Doctrine with some kind of mobile tank like the Pershing or the Easy-8s would have been very, very prized on Langreskaya, but he went for the Airborne. Looks like he's going to go ahead and try to get the 57mm anti-tank gun without upgrading to the Captain. So that should be pretty good. Allows him to skip a tier he doesn't necessarily need. Although against the OKV on Langreskaya, getting the M1 pack howitzer might not be too bad as well. Although he's gonna make do with mortars. So trade-offs and trade-offs. Doing quite okay, to be completely honest. If Sigismundeo can keep up this pressure, at this point, might not be the best idea to go for the A half-track. It might be too late. Although there's no AT coming in for Blitzkrieg, which is probably a mistake. As soon as he saw the lieutenant, I would have gone for a Rakenwerfer, if I were honest. But that's okay. And he's actually going to pair drop in a 50 caliber machine gun instead of just buying one from the lieutenant here. I think this is a bit of a mistake, honestly. I mean, he's gonna crew it with the rear echelon troops, sure, but even reinforcing free rear echelon troops is gonna be like what? It's like 16. I think it's 16 per rear echelon troop, so it's gonna be 24 plus 30, 54? No, 18 plus 30, so 48. 48 manpower. That is to say, if it is 16, is it? I think it's 16. No, it's actually 25. Holy shit. So, reinforcing free echelon troops is 75 manpower plus 260 manpower. That means that he just spent 335 manpower on this, whereas he could have just spent 280. I don't know. Whatever. It's like a very, very small, minor thing, but whatever. So, as you can see right now, Fallschirmjägers trying to flank around the machine gun, but Riflemen just providing the very, very good firepower to prevent that, or at least put some damage down on them. Lieutenant was also pushing up and, doing pretty good damage. However, the flak half-track came in to cut him off at the pass and force him back. MG has to retreat, and the right side is still under the control of Sigismundeo relatively easily. Not much harassment going down from either player, but that's because they're very, very busy at just fighting it out in the center. Flak half-track, which is going to give right now the Germans a very, very strong advantage, but wait. What did he just spend his manpower on? I think he's upgrading the Major. I would have, instead of upgraded the Major right away, I would have gone out a 57mm Paradrop, to be completely honest, because he needs something to counter this flak half-track. And if he gets the Major right now, it's not like he's going to be in a better position to do so, because yes, you're going to have the Sherman. You're going to have the Sherman, you're going to have the Jackson, you're going to have, well, the M8 Scott as well, but to actually get those things on the field, you need extra fuel, and right now, he's going to be at least 4.5 minutes away from any of those units. So having an AT gun in these 4.5 minutes, I feel like it would be very, very useful. Anyway, it's not like he can just paradrop it in, right now or something. But still, as you can see, lots of Sigismundeo's units. Let's just go ahead and look at the tactical map back at base. So if right now the Germans were to aggressively kind of push out on the flanks, they would be able to get some pretty good harassment down, especially on this fuel point. Right now, the Americans very, very, very good bringing in the riflemen on the western fuel point and just holding off everything with just one rifleman squad just on kind of a bluff. So right now, I guess you could say Blitzkrieg's un-Blitzkrieg-like play, his passivity, is really starting to hurt him. Here we have a airplane coming in. I wonder what that is. It is a pair-dropped AT gun. Good. That is a great choice. Can crew that with the rear echelon troops, of course, although he's sending the rear echelon troops away. Crew it. Crew the AT gun. Anyway, it's going to be very useful, especially because, as you can see, the harassment attempt by these riflemen was stopped by the flak half-track, and that's going to be a wipe. Come on, chase him with the Sturm Pioneers. Oh my god, that is lucky. The Sturm Pioneers should have honestly chased. That was just a missed wipe. That is the second missed wipe on Blitzkrieg's part, so that is very unfortunate for him. Looks like Secus Mondeo is actually going to place down some tank traps in here to get some heavy cover, because of course the tank traps provide heavy cover, and he's going to try to block it off with barbed wire, although I find that this almost never works. I don't know, whatever. I just don't like it. And right now, he's going to try to defend his AT gun and his mortar with his life, and his machine gun as well. So despite having on Lieutenant here, he does have a fairly good assortment of support weapons that can help him out. Incendiary grenade, not going to be the best. Blitzkrieg has been spending a lot of munitions on these incendiary grenades, while Secus Mondeo really hasn't upgraded grenades. He hasn't really used a lot of abilities at all. So it would be possible for him to upgrade the BARs right about now, and I would do that, because with 300 munitions, that means like 5 BARs. Wait, no, okay. 56 Wait, the BAR is 50, right? No, that's the bazooka, right? So that's 5 BARs. 5 BARs plus what he's already got with the captain, or sorry, not the captain, the lieutenant, means 6 BARs on the field, and that should be way more than enough to deal with 4 Volksgrenadiers and get him infantry superiority. Of course, he's going to still have to deal with this half-track, so he perhaps might want to go for some bazookas as well to help, because you never know what the Germans are going to go. And looks like the Germans are going for some airborne as well, using the Stuka smoke reconnaissance to force Secus Mondeo to use the attack round. Of course, the attack round, not the most reliable thing ever. Well done. I guess that was kind of a clutch pick once he saw the AT gun, but he can also get some Fallschirmjaegers out. He's got a lot of infantry on the field already, 4 Volksgrenadiers, but I wouldn't mind to see a Fallschirmjaeger on the field, because it would just be very, very strong. Like, he's seen that, Secus Mondeo is airborne, so might as well counter the airborne with the airborne. We can expect some paratroopers on the field, well, soon, I would hope, just to have that extra firepower. Looks like we do see a, what did he spend his manpower on? I have no idea. Anyway. We can expect some paratroopers on the field. That would, again, very, very much help against these Volksgrenadiers. MG34 on the field as well for Blitzkrieg, so Blitzkrieg also getting some suppression out there. Right now, this AT gun really needs to be on prioritized vehicles. AT gun as well for Blitzkrieg, so really both players mirroring each other. And considering it's Langraskaya, if this goes on any longer, the Germans are just going to have some very, very good units for the late game. Of course, Blitzkrieg still hasn't gone for the tier 4 for Panther headquarters, but he can get that soon, to be honest. He's got 171 fuel, so he can get that relatively quickly. Just needs the manpower to wait. Valiant Assault is going to be popped. Okay, 70 munitions for the sprints and the extra accuracy, I think it is. So he's going to try to push up against this M1 anti-tank gun, although for what reason I do not know, because he cannot capitalize on this with the flak half-track. It's already too damaged. It doesn't have the repairs. So it's not like he can push up with the flak half-track after the M157mm was forced back. So the M157mm can just go back, perhaps get some reinforcement. Might as well do that. But yeah, this means that just the Americans can push back up. So that was kind of a wasted Valiant Assault. And in 1v1s, this kind of thing matters, really. I would not be really talking about this if this was a 4v4 or anything. But yeah, just wasting 70 munitions like that might not be the best idea. Wiped out with the MG. And right now, the Americans are pushing in. However, yeah, this half-track is still in a good position to prevent the Allies from capturing the heavy machine gun team. Wait, not the machine gun. Yeah, so actually grenades are going to be popped in by Secus Mondeo. That was kind of unfortunate. The first grenade did not get a lot. Here we have the cap. That was actually a triple cap for a little bit by Blitzkrieg. So Secus Mondeo's VPs are down to 256, and right now things are not looking all that good for him. He's at half VPs. He needs some way to recapture this right side, and he's trying to harass the left-hand side. Although with the MG 34 being recapped by Blitzkrieg, he's got a pretty good way to hold this side. To be honest, though, what he should be doing, what he should be trying to do is destroying this hedgerow. I think that with the flak half-tracks 37mm, he's gonna be able to destroy the hedgerow eventually with like 5. Oh, wow, that was unexpected. That was absolutely unexpected. Because what I was saying is that if he destroys this hedgerow, this house can actually cover both the left-hand side VP and the center VP. Although, to be completely fair, would that be all that useful? I don't know. Nicely using that anti-tank gun, by the way, Sekis Mondeo. Attack rounding through the hedges and getting a good hit on that flak half-track, almost destroying it, but unfortunately he did not manage to get the kill on that second shot. We are seeing a Sherman out of him, and I think this is a very good decision. Again, improving his anti-infantry, but especially this Sherman is going to be very, very strong in the flanks. Oh, wow, nice grenade. And that's going to be another wipe on a vet-free squad. That's not good. Despite the loss of the anti-tank gun up here, it's looking pretty good for Sekis Mondeo. He has managed to sort of whittle down the infantry of Blitzkrieg. That was the most veteran squad that he had. So slowly but surely, with the BARs on the field and with the veterans of the rifleman squads, we're going to see that slowly but surely the Allies get infantry superiority. And with the Sherman on the field, what's going to be very, very strong is the fact that the Sherman can just easily cover the flanks. So no more is Sekis Mondeo going to have to suffer, you know, German occupations of the right side VP or something like that. He can just use the Sherman to counter this. Although the Sherman right now looks like it's trying to support the advance in the center with HE rounds. Gets hit by the Raketenwerfer, but the Raketenwerfer is immediately smoked by the lieutenant, and the Sherman gets in and destroys the flak. Of course, even with the armor piercing not loaded, easily able to deal damage to that flak with the HE rounds. So that was a very, very good drive-by attack by the Sherman, and actually there was a flak emplacement over there, instantly smashed by the 75mm democracy of the Sherman. Sherman also, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna cap with the Sherman right now? That might not be the best idea. Anyway, the Americans have tried to push in, but of course the Schwer Panther headquarters that has just been erected by Blitzkrieg will stop them, almost wiping out that rifleman squad. And these Volksgrenadiers trying to hold are going to get murked by the mortar, plus the lieutenant's BAR fire. Looks like the Sherman is trying to repair right now, but there's the Raketenwerfer over here. The Raketenwerfer needs to be pushed back by the infantry over here, or else it's gonna destroy the Sherman quicker than the crew can actually repair it, although it's on attack round, so it's prone to missing, and it actually misses again. Sherman gets a nasty, nasty hit on the Raketenwerfer crew. Raketenwerfer which tries to finish it off, but it's not enough, and the Sherman, I think, is going to be able to wipe out this Raketenwerfer with the last shot. Yes, well done. At this point, he should switch to the armor piercing and you know, attack move on the Raketenwerfer to destroy it, along with the rear echelon troops with the bazookas. I think he would be able to destroy that Raketenwerfer weapon. So Sekis Mondeo, all of a sudden, in a very, very strong position. He has been able to recapture the right side. He's gotten in some paratroopers, which are going to be absolutely destroying these Volksgrenadiers. The Germans don't have their flak half-track anymore. They don't have their MG anymore. They don't have the Raketenwerfer anymore. So they're down to, of course, only 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers plus a Sturm Pioneer. So very, very, very weak position to be in if you're Blitzkrieg right now. What do? I would say that since you have a Schwer Panther headquarters and a lot of fuel, you wait, to be completely honest. You might want to wait for the Panther, in fact, because the Allies, are going to get a lot more stuff in the meantime. And you try to survive as long as possible with your infantry. You just try to prevent a triple cap or something. You build a machine gun, because right now that would be very, very useful. And yeah, so we have an airborne assault coming in with the Fallschirmjaegers. This might be okay, but looks like the machine gun is just going to wipe out another Volksgrenadier squad. Yup, murdered in the retreat. And I think this is basically the end. Like, Blitzkrieg is going for the Panther, and that's going to be able to defeat the Sherman, but there's just way too much allied infantry at this point. Losing that extra Volksgrenadier really set, you know, Sekis Mondeo way too far ahead for Blitzkrieg to deal with. Unfortunately, you know, that airborne assault did not really do too much. Like, it just did some damage, but it wasn't enough. So if I were him, yeah, I would have tried to hold with what I had, gotten out a machine gun to at least hold 1 VP, and gotten out a Panther. to protect that machine gun against the Sherman. But at this point, with so much infantry superiority on the field for the Allies can just advance everywhere. And then use the infantry to protect the anti-tank gun over here, and use the anti-tank gun plus the Sherman to deal with the Schwer Panther headquarters. And after that, he can just literally come in and capture all of these points. But we'll see, we'll see. Blitzkrieg is definitely not out of the game yet, although he's in a bad position. We'll see what he can do. Especially with this Panther. He needs to make this Panther work. Although the Panther, again, like its biggest problem is going to be dealing with all this infantry. Panther actually chasing in very aggressively against the Sherman. This might not be the best idea because there is an anti-tank gun over here. So needs to remember that he's not invincible, despite the fact that he's the strongest vehicle around. There's still the anti-tank gun, and the anti-tank gun is actually blind firing, kind of revealing its position. And there we are. Now, Sekis Mondeo knows where the Panther is. Here comes some anti-tank grenades. Actually, quite a bit of damage on the Panther, but thankfully for the Panther, the AT grenade actually hit before the AT gun shell. So he's in an okay spot still.
We're losing a capture point. Final check. Make sure battle rifles are on repetition.
Fallschirmjäger capturing the right side. Yeah, we now stand at 300 points. So the Germans, while having some problems in the early game with map control, well, now they're going to have some bigger problems, aka also with VPs, because Sekis Mondeo earlier on had some very, very, very low VP counts, and that, yeah, Fallschirmjäger wiped out because he was microing the left-hand side of the Panther. Of course, the Panther is more important, but losing his elite infantry like that to the paratroopers, not good. Paratroopers actually upgraded with the Thompsons. These are actually better for wiping out squads with the tactical assault, you know, sudden bursts of damage. With the Thompsons at close range, very, very strong, although not as strong in terms of DPS as the, of course, M1919 light machine guns. That's kind of the trade-off. And to be honest, considering how small the unit count is for Blitzkrieg, going for these Thompsons might not be the worst idea. Just trying to get some wipes and you know, finish off whatever is left. Oh, the Stern Pioneer is also gonna get, well, not wiped, but very, very close to getting wiped. Panther sees an opportunity though, and he charges in after the Sherman with the help of the smoke. Right now, this might not be the best idea though, because the AT gun is still there. The MG gunner is desperately trying to kill the AT gun crew, and he does manage to do that. Volksgrenadier is moving in to support, and that's good. However, there's also some bazookas in here that can help out, and the Panther's taking some massive, massive damage. The Sherman is very, very low on HP. Panther misses. Right now, there's no help coming in from these troops, although they could be doing some good work. And yeah, despite all of this, Sekis Mondeo is still winning the engagement because guess what? Even though the trade was relatively even, Sekis Mondeo holds the field. He holds all the points. Left-hand side decapped by the lieutenant. Lieutenant comes in and gets a nice grenade on the machine gun, forces it to retreat. Right now, the lieutenant can just go back and get himself there. Fallschirmjäger is dropping in behind enemy lines, trying to catch the Sherman crew off guard, but unfortunately, it's Langorskaya, it's a small map. Relatively hard to catch people off guard, so the Sherman is still alive. However, they can get some bundle grenades and they hit themselves, trying to kill the machine gun. Area secure, so that means the Americans are yet more pushing up, getting points. We do have a Jackson coming in for Sekis Mondeo. That is a very, very good choice, in my opinion, because he's got the infantry superiority. He's got all that he needs to get the map control and hold it, to get that field presence. So he needs the Jackson just to counter the Panther. Maybe not to counter the Panther, but at least to hold it in place. All right, so the Airborne coming in. That's the strongness, yes, of the Airborne. You can just come in, grenade your stuff, and actually the grenade of the Airborne is a lot more dangerous because it's got like the cooked grenade. Like its timer is actually. Wait, hold on. Is it the Airborne or was that actually something else? If I recall correctly, that's the Airborne that has like the cooked grenade, where it doesn't even have any timer for you to dodge it. Yep, cooked grenade. That's actually like really bullshit. So need to be careful with this thing. Once again, Airborne being very strong at wiping out enemy units. With that tactical assault of the Thompsons, doing more damage at the cost of receiving more damage. That is what you use when you want to wipe out an enemy squad. And the cook grenades. So, need to be careful when these guys are around, especially the assault version of the Airborne squad. And at this point, I mean, it's not like Blitzkrieg can really do too much. Like, facing off against the Jackson and the Sherman, plus all the infantry, plus the anti-tank gun, it's just not good. Luckily for him, the riflemen don't get off an anti-tank grenade in that engagement, which would have been the end of that Panther, because it would have been, he would have been damaged in the engines, and that would have allowed the Jackson and the Sherman pretty much free reign to follow the Panther and just fire on it like a sitting duck. But I think that this is going to be the end of the game anyway, so yeah, it was a pretty good little 1v1. Showcased how strong just American infantry can be, and how much you don't want to lose your infantry as the OKW. And also, well, once again, unemployed Panthers equals not good. Honestly, one thing that the Germans really did wrong was the doctrine selection. Like, the doctrine selection for the Allies, I think, was questionable, but it was good in the end. It was used well, whereas like the Fallschirmjaegers didn't really come into play. Like, the only thing that was used to any effect was the Stuka smoke bombs, but to be honest, like, I don't know, like, those are good, but you might as well do something else, at least in terms of doctrines. Like, I feel like Panzer Fusiliers would have been a lot more useful than this. There goes the Panther, and that's probably going to be the end. I feel like Panzer Fusiliers would have been a lot more useful. And, well, perhaps the Sturmtiger might not have been a terrible idea because of what the Americans were doing with that AT gun, with that, with those support weapons, maybe trying to get some wipes on the infantry, whatever. The Sturmtiger is just a pet peeve of mine that I like. Anyway, I want to, wow, what the fuck? Nice clipping over there, Rifleman BR. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this cast, and I will see you soon.